Good morning to you. You. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Won't you share with a friend or two? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to Good morning you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. You. Good morning. Good morning to you and many more. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host today, Shantae Charles. I hope that you're having a great and wonderful day. It is Monday Motivation, and I am here today to deliver some more women of power to motivate your week. I have 6 of them from the Urban Intellectuals deck on historical and contemporary women. And I'm going to be reading from Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbrough. And we are looking at November 4th. Before I get into this, and this is the only thing I'm tackling today, I want to encourage you, if you are in the United States, to get out, if you have not already, and vote on November 5th, Tuesday. Make your voice heard and known for your community. Again, make your voice heard and known for your community. I woke up to a post on one of my pages that is specifically for Black people, Black Table Talk. And the gentleman was kind of railing about, it was supposed to be a conversation about voting, but it turned into a conversation about Black people versus Black Americans. And the statement he said, I don't think he realized that it didn't make any sense. He complained about voting, and then I said, you don't have to vote for the top of the ticket. Like, if you are just so upset about the choices that you have in the United States as possible presidential candidates, it's your choice. You don't have to vote the top of your ticket. But guess what else is on your ticket? And we've already gone over this, and you'll see in my previous broadcast, I even brought out a sample ballot showing all of the other things that are on your uh, ballot. I said, but what about things like funding for your schools, your roads, your water treatment facilities, deciding how many people are going to be on your community council? Right now, my community is very diverse, and all of the county seats are taken by white males, and they just pass the seats back and forth to each other. And there was a measure on my ballot to expand our council so that we could get more people onto the council that actually represent what our community looks like. Now imagine had I decided not to vote and pass up the opportunity to expand our council so that we could get more people on the council that actually represent what our community looks like. This person went into, well, that's the problem with Black Americans. They're trying to build behind enemy lines. I'm like, really? So you don't want people to vote, and you don't want people to try to improve their communities. That is your advice? Block. I block those kind of people. I don't entertain illogical reasoning on my pages. I just don't. So there are people like that out there. And before I blocked the person, which was a black male, I went to his page to see what is he posting. If he's in my space saying this, what is he posting? I went over to his space, and the first post on his space was women should not be in control of anything. Men should have the lead. Block. Because how are you excluding half of the world's population? Block. Some things don't need to be, sometimes you don't need to go back and forth with things that you see are clearly at odds with what you believe. There was no point. He was in the wrong space. He didn't even believe that women should lead or be in power. So why are we having this conversation? We're not. Block. All right. Let's get into some women of power this morning on our Monday motivation. We're going to start out with Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was a poet, an author, a civil rights activist. She was also a dancer at one point in her life. She authored the first nonfiction bestseller by an African American woman, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, as well as a number of poems, novels, and autobiographies spanning over 50 years. She contributed to the civil rights movement as both a fundraiser and an organizer, working with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. So she was working on both ends. Mhm. Was the first black woman to write a screenplay of a major film, and the first female poet of any race to recite a poem at a U.S. presidential inauguration. She received many honors over the years, including the 2010 Presidential Medal of Freedom. Maya Angelou. That's a short biography of her. If you don't know a lot about Maya, I would suggest that you take some time to get to know a little bit more about her. She also was a professor, and she had several honorary doctorates to her credit. Now, this young lady I found out about through my work with Liberia and an orphanage there. Um, not going physically, but doing remote fundraising and philanthropy. Lema Roberta Gabawi. She is still living. She has a documentary that I highly recommend people view and watch if you're interested in how to enact nonviolent protest in a way that can shake a nation. She is a Liberian peace leader and organizer of women. She collaborated with the future Liberian president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, to enable a free election in 2003. She worked in trauma healing to help rehabilitate child soldiers who were affected by the years of war in Liberia. Gabawi's women's peace movement used non traditional tactics such as a sex strike and threats of curses and nudity in the streets to bring an end to the Second Liberian Civil War in 2003. The documentary that I looked at around her work was called Pray the Devil Back to Hell. Very, very, very powerful documentary of this movement at the time. She was co awarded the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize for her role in peace building efforts and the nonviolent struggle for women's rights. Again, if you want to check out her work, the documentary is called Pray the Devil Back to Hell. I don't know if it's on any streaming site, but I do have the DVD myself. Next up, Mary Church Terrell. Mary Church Terrell. She lived from September 23, 1863 to July 24th, 1954. Mary Church Terrell. She was an educator and activist for both civil rights and women's rights, one of the first African American women to earn a college degree. Terrell's parents were both formerly enslaved, and they used their freedom to become small business owners in Memphis and encouraged their daughter to get an education. She married Robert Herberton Terrell, an attorney who would become Washington, D.C.'s first black judge, and encouraged his wife to become involved in women's rights. She co founded the National Association of Colored Women in 1896 as a way to get African American women involved in winning the right to vote. She took on Jim Crow laws in the South and helped desegregate restaurants in Washington, D.C. during the 1950s. Shout out to her husband, Robert Herberton Terrell, the first black judge in D.C., who had no problem with his wife going to get to work to deal with civil rights. Shout out to him. Yeah. All right. Next up, Missy Copeland. Missy Copeland, as we know, is still living. She was born September 10th, 1985. She is an American ballet dancer, stage performer, author, and celebrity spokesperson. She was the first African American to be promoted to principal ballerina by the American Ballet Theater. Unlike most ballerinas, Copeland didn't start ballet training early. She began dancing at the age of 13. She rose above a difficult childhood to excel as a student and as a ballerina. She was the recipient of many awards, including the Los Angeles Music Center Spotlight Award for Best Dancer in Southern California, the 2013 National Youth of the Year Ambassador by the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and one of Glamour's Women of the Year for 2015. She's also authored books that empower children of color, including her book Firebird. And I think she has also, in recent years, released one on Black dancers, the history of Black dancers. All right, two more. Next up, Miriam Makeba, who would have had a birthday November 9th. She is a South African born singer, humanitarian, UN Goodwill Ambassador, and civil rights activist. She was one of the first African musicians to receive worldwide recognition and bring African music to a Western audience. Well known for her work to end U.S. segregation as well as apartheid and white minority government prominent in South Africa. She did immigrate to the U.S. in 1960 after gaining popularity as a singer and an actress for her role in the anti apartheid film Comeback Africa. She received a Grammy for her collaboration album with Harry Belafonte. After marrying Black Panther Party leader Stokely Carmichael, Makeba faced criticism from whites as well as the U.S. government, which caused her to move to Guinea, where she continued to protest injustice through her music. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And lastly, Michaela Jean, born September 6th, 1957. She is still living. She is a Haitian born former journalist who was appointed Governor General of Canada by Queen Elizabeth II. She was the third and current Secretary General, which works to promote the culture of regions where French is the first language. She became the first Black person on French television news in Canada during her work as a news reporter and television host. She worked with her husband in the production of several documentaries, including the award-winning Haiti dans tous nos rêves, or Haiti in All Our Dreams. Humanitarian who worked to assist victims of domestic violence recover through the coordination of government-funded spousal support. I hope you've been inspired by at least one of these women's stories on today. All right, let's hop into some words of success. November 4th, something that you can use. Alelia Walker, philanthropist and daughter of Madam C.J. Walker, said this: "The value of our lives depends on how we use them." We all wonder at some point why we've been placed on earth and what the purpose of life is. Of course, there are various views on this subject. The first view holds that we should do everything possible to reach our full potential, that we should strive to be the best that we can be. The second view holds that we live to glorify the Creator. The third view holds that we live to serve our fellow man. Jesus of Nazareth, Clara Mother Hale, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King are all examples of people who committed their lives to the service of others. An elderly woman recently asked me to retrieve a box of letters from her dresser drawer. As I removed the letters, I saw a beautiful quilt there. When I asked about the quilt, she told me to take it out and look at it. It was a masterpiece. She told me her grandmother had made the quilt as a wedding gift years ago. When I asked her why she did not have it on her bed, she said, "Oh, it's too beautiful to use." How sad she felt her gift was better hidden in a drawer, preserved, than used. Whether you give your purpose in life, whether you believe your purpose in life is to reach your full potential, to glorify your Creator, or to serve others, it can only be achieved through personal sacrifice, persistent effort, and cooperation with others. You must find something bigger and grander than yourself, a cause that stirs your emotions like no other. Our Creator gave humanity a beautiful gift, the most beautiful in the world. I hope yours is something that you will use. Now, the only thing I would say about this particular premise is um, that sometimes your premise can be, or your purpose can be, a little bit of all three. And that is to reach your full potential, to glorify your Creator, and to serve others. I don't think it has to be an either or. I think it can be both and. The affirmation here at the bottom reads, "Today I will analyze my talents and establish goals that make use of them." So, what are you going to do with the gifts that you have? Tomorrow, hopefully, I will be on both of these. Well, not on IG. Tomorrow, I will be on Black Table Talk, but I'm also hoping to, I might have to download my presentation and upload it to YouTube tomorrow, um, possibly later in the day. So, you all on YouTube tomorrow may not see me live because, excuse me, because I will be on Black Table Talk's Facebook page. So I'm asking if you want to see me live tomorrow, join me on Black Table Talk Facebook page. We're going to be doing an important lecture on Jim Crow. And we're going to be talking about the ways that Jim Crow, or the remnants of Jim Crow etiquette, shows up in child discipline. This is a conversation that we got started on my Facebook page on Black Table Talk. And so that's why I'm going back there to present and talk in detail about what it means um, to have the remnants of Jim Crow still um, making its way through the way that we talk to, the way that we discipline children, the way that we teach on respect and disrespect. This is a touchy subject, especially for a lot of Black parents who like to say that what is a disrespectful answer, or what is a disrespectful response when children are responding to them. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to get into that. We're going to look at some of the comments that people have said about this, that come straight from my page. So I won't be uh, changing or adjusting anybody's words, but we're going to look at the lens by which people are thinking about this word. Why does it infuriate people so much when they hear the word what? Where does that come from? Why are people triggered when someone responds to them with the word what? Not who, not where, not why, not when, but what? Why do people find that to be disrespectful? Where did that come from? Who taught us that what was a disrespectful response? So we're going to interrogate that a little bit on Tuesday. I hope that you will join us for that segment. Again, it's not going to be over here live. I will download the video and post it here on Tuesday, but it won't be live. So if you want to participate in the live teaching, meet me at Black Table Talk, my Facebook page, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? All right. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. This is Monday Motivation. If you want to hear our talk back, feel free to join us right now on IG. At Daring Dialogues is the IG page. Hope to see you tomorrow. Be well and be light.